course, driving, etc. But the 2/3 of the training program is actually not related to this skill, and I feel that is the reason why the women are still continuing in where they're continuing. One part of it is largely about what we call strengthening the personhood. So it's about making them more confident, understanding the fact that they would be coming from a class, from context where they would have probably never been to the colonies where they would go and work as chauffeurs. So helping them learn how to be confident, how to be assertive, English speaking, again through Delhi Police Crime Against Women's Cell, we have a training in self-defense. So all of it, strengthening the person that they are. And the third part is strengthening the woman that they are. So helping them understand why there is so much of, bhedbhav. Why is it that women are so oppressed? Why don't we see more women drivers on the road? And also in their context, that there's so much of violence against women, and then also teaching them about the law, what they need to do, how to protect themselves from violence, not just on the roads but also in their homes. The violence in their homes stops them from coming out on the roads, etc. So they go through this very comprehensive training process, and the NGO also helps them, Azad Foundation also helps them to acquire licenses, a learner license and a permanent license and eventually a commercial license and all the rest that they need to have. And once they are employable, that is where the company that you have set up, the Saka, you have a flyer of that, Saka Consulting Wings, that comes into place. The role of the company is to provide employment options to women who have been trained as chauffeurs by the Azad Foundation. So Saka has 3 services that we offer. The first is a private placement. So of course, when we had started, we had to do very hard. I mean, we basically rallied around our friends and family networks and said, you have to hire a woman driver from us. So we have to call up people and say, tell them why they should hire a woman driver from us. And of course, now we have reached a point where we have a wait list. I mean, I think even though financially we haven't yet hit what they call a break-even point, but in terms of conceptually, I think the concept has been established of a female chauffeur. There is quite a bit of a demand that we in fact are not able to meet very easily. And so the first service that we provide is that of a private placement, which is basically with households, NGOs primarily. And so we have a website, people register on the website, we help them connect with a female chauffeur, and once they have identified somebody, then we help them draw up a contract which spells out the job, salary, entitlements, everything. And we do, at Saka, we do a lot of hand-holding, counseling the clients as well as the chauffeur and trying to help them settle down. So we have nearly 40 to 45 women who are working as private placement chauffeurs. The second service that we offer is a car hire service, and I would like to invite all of you to use it anytime you come to Delhi.
Okay, it's not only for women.
No, I'm just going to say that.
Okay.
Get into it. It is for women and families.
You guys are very
you can use it if you have a female, traveling with you. Yeah. So it's for women and families. It's run 24/7, and we have only 7 cars. Right now we started with 1 car. And but we have also got institutional clients. We have a tie-up with, for example, Tata Steel a year ago provides vehicles for it's for their women executives. So we have a tie-up with the World Bank for their women executives. So that's the brand and the niche that we are trying to, and it also helps because that way we can also ensure safety for our women drivers. Like at least to some extent. The third service that we offer is that of a premium chauffeur on hire. So that is when people want a chauffeur for 5 hours or 10 hours or not basically 2 weeks, a short-term specific assignment where we send experienced commercial women chauffeurs, which we charge for on an hourly basis. So these are the 3 services that that are provided basically to look at employment options for the women who have been trained as chauffeurs. And most of the women who come to Azad Foundation, they are in the age group of 18 to 35. They come from families whose monthly family income would be 4 to 6,000 rupees a month. The family members would be either vegetable vendors, daily laborers, doing odd jobs, working in informal economy, etc. And when the women start working, their first the salary that they start on, the fresh experience without any experience is 6,500 rupees a month. And so, even with that, and there are other women who are now earning as much as 11,000 rupees a month. So they become actually the chief breadwinner in their own family. And so that's one of the biggest impacts. But that, I think, is really not the biggest, because what is really making a change is all the rest of it, all the other training that has gone into it, and their own confidence and their own ability to, it's like almost like once they are driving, it's not that they are only driving the car around, it's like they have learned to drive their own lives, they have taken decisions. Young women who came and joined the course have taken decisions to postpone their age of marriage. They have decided, there are some women who have decided to say no violence in their families in different ways. I mean, some of them, they've learned to go to the police, they've learned to walk out, they've learned to resist, they've learned to ask for help. They've each chosen their own ways of dealing with it. There are these young women who were initially like invisible almost in their families, have become resources in their family, in their community. So those are the other non-tangible, non-financial benefits that I feel are the real benefits of the whole thing. They have also had an opportunity to build a sort of a survival support network amongst themselves. So if something happens with one, there is a collective of them. So they are able to call each other for help, and that is something that sustains them more than any one institute could do. So basically, that is the work that we have been doing. Our vision is to, of course, have many more women drivers on the road, to work till a time when women can actually grow up and say, okay, I want to become a driver when I grow up. So nobody has to raise their eyebrows at that. But also I feel that in doing that, that is perhaps the most sustainable way by which we can make public spaces safe for women. Because, there's a lot of hue and cry, and there's a lot of effort in how, not just Delhi, but a lot of cities in India and elsewhere are not safe for women. And I personally feel that we cannot make them safe by only having regulation or law enforcement agencies out there. One of the ways to make it safer is, like, if you have many more women out on the roads, women who are bus drivers, women who are conductors, women who are auto drivers, it will automatically become a more women-friendly public space in which we are living. So, that's the vision with which we are working, and that's in short, the story of our enterprise.
I think we have a few people who just joined us, so maybe you could introduce yourself.
So we will start with Harshvi. He's secretary.
He's a Harshvi.
Harshvi is, I'm introduced as the secretary typing job.
Yeah, I think the last 5 this person gentleman here.
So, hi, I'm Anu Kohli. I'm a MBA student at the Indian School of Business over here.
And
hi, I'm Rupina, and I'm currently working with the Commonwealth Youth Program, and I also have an organization called Chandigarh, which works against street harassment.
which works again?
Street
harassment.
Hi, I'm Anyo. Still my final year of graduation. Came here to listen to the talk.
Okay.
I'm Jay Kwan with ISB Mohali, Indian School of Business.
This is Ashima, Dr. Ashima. I'm running an NGO working with disabled children and not many social welfare projects.
Well, I'll just introduce more on Ashima. Dr. Ashima Srivastava is a very leading psychologist, a great social entrepreneur, you can say a great personality in charge around Kanpur, UP. Luckily, she is here, and joined by her is Dr. Vibha Daluja, also is the General Secretary of an organization called Ashima. Already you know say something about what initiative she's taking, community is taking.
I'm Dr. Vibha, and like Sunita has just introduced me as the General Secretary of an organization. It's in Panchkula called Education of Social Health in India, and the main focus is on women and children.
I'm sure Meenu has faced a lot of challenges setting something up like this. And Meenu, maybe you can just tell them about some of the major challenges. Yes, we've had some family, like you were saying, that there was one. What about the documentation, the way people, when they come to you, because if you're taking people from the lower strata, they don't have residence proof, they don't have any school certificates. And what is the criteria with which the criteria you have to take them on in the first place?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm sure everybody will agree that there are bound to be a lot of challenges because this is so much against the, against the flow, so to say. So, of course, when we started, there was a lot of skepticism and people felt nobody would come, nobody would want to be, etc., etc. So, and then once we started with a group of 9 women who were the first batch. But yeah, I mean, they don't have these documents, but we have to treat everybody equally. So that is one really big challenge. We've had cases, we've had women, there in Delhi, there are a lot of women from UP, for example, Allahabad, Bahrain, Jhansi, a lot of different places. They have done their primary schooling in these places. So in one case, for example, she finally managed to get a school leaving certificate from Jhansi, and then the RTO looks at it and says, oh, computerized nahi hai, we have to send it back for verification, so you have to go back. So, I mean, there are so many of these. One of the things we tried doing initially was helping them open a bank account as a proof of residence. And we had a friendly bank manager at that time, so he took a letter from us. Now, the moment the bank manager changed, we are back to square one. The bank also requires 2 identity proofs to open a bank account. And I was just saying that this is actually all the talk that we do about poverty eradication, about financial inclusion. I find it so hollow because we are actually alienating the poor. I don't know where and how a poor, forget opening a license, where would they go to even keep their small savings, because the banks will not open an account for them. So we have to really, I mean, it takes our entire institutional might and connections, etc., to just, help them get their basic documents together. And then we, of course, also had these experiences, I mean, in the beginning, and now, of course, we train them a lot, etc., but like somewhere if they do a mistake and the client will say, take their license away. And that's it. They will not give you back the license. Now you go to the police, lodge an FIR, and that license which was her, so that's a big challenge, helping them put together the documents, helping them learn how to manage these documents, how to keep them carefully, etc. And then the other big challenge that comes is the social, So we have trained and they start working, and suddenly, somebody in the family, and the villain in our stories is mostly the younger brother. I don't know why it is the younger brother who gets very protective about this sister and says, no, I'm not going to let her go out, I'm not going to let her come back late in the night. And that's it. She has a license, she's skilled, she's able to work, she was working, and she goes home and sits down because she can't do. Even the father says, uske samne maine, so it's a big, and in many cases we have had to actually, in one case we had 2 sisters who were married and they were about to reach the point where they had to go for a job. And we called them and their family said, now they have gone to their sasural and you don't have to, So we actually, their Sasural happened to be near Agra, so we had to actually take help of a women's rights organization, take police help, because we knew that they were in distress. They had already lodged a case, etc. And we went and contacted them, got them out from their home, and under police protection we were escorted back from Agra to Delhi. And today one of them is very happily working as a chauffeur, earning a salary of 8,000 rupees a month, standing on her own feet, etc. So the challenges in working, with women are immense actually. And a lot of times people tell us, somebody was sharing with me that in Chandigarh also a similar initiative started, then it just petered out. I know it started in Delhi. A few years ago, I was told one of the mega camps, they had started something similar in Delhi, my belief is these things will fail because it's not that, you train men.